Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have Zakesta-Z, a modern retro-styled shoot 'em up. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developers Akichi, Zakesta-Z released for the PC via Steam in January of 2024. This title has a great retro appearance, similar to classics like Star Soldier and Zanuck, but with the feel of a modern-day bullet hell, with the tight handling and a really awesome scoring system. In addition to that, it's got this great electronica soundtrack, which I've really enjoyed, and all of it's available at an incredibly low price point. This is 100% a recommendation from the chef. There is a version of this available on itch.io, so if you want to try that out for free, you can definitely do so. I'll include links to both the Steam page as well as the itch.io page in the description down below. Today's video is being captured off a Steam Deck, so that also might be relevant information to you, and I do have to say this title plays wonderfully on the Steam Deck. With all that said, we find ourselves at the main menu. Before we dive in, let's go over our difficulty selections real quick. For our base difficulty, we have normal. Then there's Zogen. This is your variable rank or variable difficulty mode. The better you do, the harder the game gets. And lastly, Zuto-Z, which sets it to the highest rank and allows for no continues. So hardest difficulty, no continues. This is your true challenge mode. Starting the game on normal, after a countdown, we go! As far as the controls are concerned, movement-wise, this is your standard vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. For our shot, we do have one button for our shot, and initially we also have a sub-weapon that starts at level 1 and works all the way up to level 3. The main weapon also starts at level 1, but there's a trick to power yourself up to full power very quickly. So for finding the power-ups, the yellow spheres that power up your main shot, there are these blocks that we encounter, and shooting them will reveal whether or not that block has a power-up in it. If it's blinking like this, basically still lodged in there, if you collect it, you'll go all the way to full power. A neat little trick to power yourself up at the beginning of the game. So appearance-wise, this is one of the things I really love about this game. It has an appearance very similar to the vertical scrolling classics like Star Soldier and Zanuck. It also has some Xevious as well, so if you like games like that, or at least that aesthetic, then this one is definitely going to be right up your alley. But as I mentioned, it has the feel of a modern bullet hell. So we have really tight controls, a super small hitbox, really everything goes and feels great about this title just playing it. For the sub-weapons, there are 6 different sub-weapons. My favorite is 5 as it's a homing shot, but it's not necessarily the most powerful. That's probably 1, which is a pretty fun one to play around with. Although, for using 1, you're not able to continually fire if you want to get the best out of the shot. So if you release your fire button for a moment, you'll have this line cursor, which is where the massive laser we're firing ends up on screen. Then the next time you press the button, bam, we are hitting the whole screen with that massive laser. It's a lot of fun, if a little bit tricky to use. There's also one that acts as a shield to defend you from enemy shots, one that provides some orbitals, we'll try that one right now, one that fires exploding shots at the enemies, and one that's an extra couple shots that fire in the opposite direction you happen to be moving. So really some great options there, but as I mentioned, like 5 is my favorite, and there's actually an option in the options to set it to just one particular sub-weapon if you just want to go all number 1, that massive laser, or all like homing, let's see, number 5, you can do that, which is really great. So in addition to providing a lot of additional firepower, your sub-weapon also acts as your shield. So your sub-weapon level, it goes from 1 to 3. However, if you take a hit, then you'll lose 1 level of sub-weapon. And once you get down to level 0, then that's taking another hit will cost you a life. So we find ourselves fighting our first boss, and before we get too far in here, there's a really neat little Star Soldier homage there, where if we damage the core before it combines, we get a neat little 50,000 point bonus. So this fight is relatively straightforward and actually pretty short if you're fully powered up. The point is to go and shoot the core when it's combined, and then when it breaks apart, the core is momentarily invulnerable, and we just need to dodge the shots that are coming at us. A couple cycles and just staying on the core itself, and this fight will be dusted. So one thing about this particular sub-weapon that I'm using right now, 3 doesn't provide for as much firepower as some of the other shots do. So there are some flash and blur motions here, but these are with everything set to minimal, so it's significantly reduced. And that's your basic gameplay for Zakesta-Z. As far as the scoring is concerned, that's where I start to really dive into and love the gameplay itself, and we'll talk more about that going into Area 2. But also just noting the soundtrack is just kind of different from what you would expect from this kind of shoot 'em up. You would expect something more like a chiptune soundtrack, but instead they went with an electronica that's kind of borders on like trance, with some Vocaloid elements in there as well. It's like something that's a little bit different, unexpected, and I really like it. So back to the scoring. As you defeat enemies, they drop point items that start at a value of 5, worth 50 points, and then decay down to 1. So if you're looking to score the highest points, we want to destroy enemies up close so we can collect those points right away. Once you've collected the points, we start to fill up this meter over here on the left side of the screen. Once it hits the blue point, this isn't the best point to show it off, but once it hits that point, we can activate what is called the Z zone, and the Z zone allows us to capture those scoring items and turn them into high scoring crystals. One thing to note, the power-up options that give you your sub-weapons, if you're not firing, they don't cycle. So if you have a particular option you want to collect, just stop firing and you'll be able to pick that up. The game does also have focus movement or slow movement that you can activate, and if you're firing and using the focus movement at the same time, the sub-weapon options will cycle through very quickly. So once we have that meter filled up on the right side, we can activate what's called Z zone, which is the zone that will spread out from the ship itself, and any of the point items we capture in there will be converted to crystals using a formula that's explained in the manual that's available on Steam. So you can have a look at that if you're interested in the calculations itself. So having the decaying point items, as well as that Z zone feature, which builds up with collecting the high point items, all makes for a really awesome scoring system. There's also some hidden bonus items, and just really this whole package is just an incredible shoot 'em up that's available for just an incredibly low price point. Or if you're happy with just playing the HIO version for free. So definitely, this is 100% one that comes recommended from the chef. Definitely check this one out, at least on HIO, if not the Steam version itself. As I also mentioned, it plays great on a Steam Deck, so if you've got a Steam Deck and you're looking to experience some fun, if on the shorter side, shoot 'em ups, dive into this one. This is truly will be worth every cent you pay, and the time you play with it is enjoyable as well. As far as the minus flavors are concerned, though, the biggest complaints I have are just things that I wish were there just to make the game better. So it would have been awesome if the game had an online leaderboard, where I feel like the scoring is so neat for this style of a shoot 'em up. It's truly a shame that you don't have a dynamic online leaderboard to compare your scores with. And then really 5 stages just feels too short. For some shoot 'em ups, 5 stages is a sweet spot. For one like this, I would think 7 or 8 stages would have been perfect. And those are really the only complaints I have about this title. As far as the plus flavors are concerned, First off, like, I can't understate how great of a value it is at the low price point it has. In addition to that, the scoring mechanics are a lot of fun to learn and master and see what's going on there. The secrets the game has, like that quick power-up mode that's available to you, an incredible soundtrack, and really great pixel art aesthetics from an era of some really awesome experimentation in the genre. It just brings together just a really incredible package that I just can't say how much I've enjoyed my short time with. And with all that said, this is definitely a recommend from the chef, and with that we find ourselves at the end of our video. Zakesta-Z served up for your enjoyment. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you have a wonderful week yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.